Hey guys, Friss again. So as I said, I was going to post another video today where I discussed the composition of my fleet and looked at doing upgrades. Now, unfortunately, I didn't do well enough in the game earlier to get any upgrades to my fleet, so I'm not a high enough level yet. And because both my ships died, the captains didn't gain any experience. What I should have done towards the end of that game, which I'm sure many people will point out in the first video, is I should have warp jumped them out, which means that although I still lose the game, the captains keep any experience they may have picked up. And I can use that to buy skills, upgrades, and favors and crew for my ships. Well, actually, not favors. Favors come from renown. But anyway, let's just discuss the ships I have available and what I've done with them. So my fleet at the moment consists of two. I can only have light cruisers. I can have three light cruisers. When I hit level 2, I open up a cruiser slot, which gives me a slightly more powerful ship, which makes more of a better flagship for sort of early game battles. So I've got two Dauntless Mark II cruisers, which are the ones from the game. They've got prow-mounted torpedo launchers, which is what I was trying to use to get my victory. They've got broadside light macro cannons, which aren't super great. If we have a look at the stats for the ship, the torpedoes do 45 damage with a high critical chance when they hit. The light macro batteries on the side do 6 damage when they hit. It's also got two light double macro turrets, which do the same damage as the sides, just they fire less. Actually, they do half the damage. The problem I had was I was used to chaos ships, which don't have light turrets on top. They have like medium turrets, so I was expecting these guns to do a little bit more than they did in that game, which is why for subsequent games I want to change my makeup a little bit. You can buy upgrades for your ships. I'm going to discuss upgrades as we get them. I have 75 renown, so I can't. Yeah, I can actually afford some upgrades. No, I can't because I haven't got any slots unlocked yet. So I have to level the captains up to get them. But I'm not going to discuss these yet because I haven't unlocked them yet. Ships also have skills, and I am going to discuss the skill I unlocked for my Dauntlesses. The skill I unlocked was Micro Warp Jump, which you saw me use, which basically gives my ship a 5,000 range jump anytime during the fight. And my idea behind it was they'll be maneuvering to try and kind of preempt my torpedo strike, so I'll wait for them to burn a lot of energy doing a high risk maneuver, then I'll jump in and hit them when they're not expecting it. So both my ships have that upgrade. There's other stuff you can do. You can get favors for your ships, which alter them in certain ways. You can upgrade your crew, but again, when I get to that, I'll go over it. I'm not going to just do a huge info dump now because I'm still learning the game as well. Now, the only other ship I have in my fleet, which is the ship I'm going to use in my next fight, which is a Mark I Dauntless class cruiser called the Hammer of Faith. Now, it differs from my other ships in that it's got a different makeup of weapons. So what it has is it still has the light macro batteries on the sides, it still has the two double light macro turrets on top, but it also has a heavy prow lance. This weapon here, underneath the main brow. Now, this is the gun that other ship had that we were fighting, the big cruiser, but he had a much more powerful version of it. And this is just a good solid laser. It's got decent range, it does a lot of damage, it's much easier to aim and shoot than the torpedoes. So the torpedoes are your risk reward, high risk, high reward weapon. Your heavy prow lance is much more reliable. The other thing about this gun is its armor piercing. Now, the nice thing about the torpedoes is they pierce shields, so I don't really need to worry about his shields. Now, I'm considering taking both these ships into my next battle, but I wonder if they will work too well together because I've got no way of taking down the shields for the lance to work well. But we'll try it. Exactly the same makeup apart from that. The only thing I've given it to try and get around this problem with shields is a different skill. So rather than the Micro Warp Drive, this has a Disruption Bomb, which has a huge range. And what it does is after 10 seconds, it goes off. Any ship caught in its radius will lose their shields, which means that the Lance might be able to do some stuff. So we'll try that for our next game, which I'll probably do this evening. And we'll see how that goes. And then hopefully we can unlock a cruiser and we'll discuss that. Now, the other thing I want to really quickly touch on are the escort ships I can take with me. I'll always have these available. And there's three different types. There's the Cobra Destroyer, which has a light torpedo launcher, which does, I think it's half the damage of my other ship's torpedo launchers. No, it does the same, but it only fires two torpedoes maybe. Yeah, it only fires two torpedoes rather than four, even though it has four torpedo slots. I guess it takes them a while to reload them. If you consider the size of the ships and the size of the torpedoes they're firing, the torpedoes they're firing are unfathomably large. They're to even see them on the scale. I mean, like you can't even see. Consider that as a huge cathedral that could fit hundreds of people. Torpedoes they fire are massive. It also has one little light macro turret, so all it can do, it's a one-trick pony, it shoots torpedoes. This is the Firestorm frigate, the frigate I took with me into that fight. Again, light macro turret, and it has a light lance. So I was hoping that would plink away, but it really did nothing. The ship I'm probably going to take with me next time is the Sword frigate, and it's just a pretty generic ship. but it does have 2 light macro turrets, so we can just circle at max range and just continually plunk away. And that's what he had. He had 2 of these, and they were served him pretty well. He had a cruiser and 2, and I like that sort of setup he had. I don't really agree with his choice of cruiser. These, by the way, if you know what these are like point defense for shooting down torpedoes, which he did. You might notice a few torpedoes didn't actually make it all the way through to him, and that's why, because he had point defense on his ship. And quite a common upgrade, I think, is going to be the one that gives you this one here, gives you 3 more defense turrets on your ship because torpedoes are nasty. And that was just against one other thing I want to touch on is we played against an Imperial player, and Imperial ships, at least at this level, are very much about prow-on combat. The torpedoes come out the front, the lances come out the front. They've got turrets along the spine of the ship that can fire forward. The other faction that's currently in the beta are Chaos, and Chaos are much more about broadside fighting. They've got much better macro turret side shots, and they don't have as much forward-firing weapons. I was doing quite well with my Chaos fleet, but I decided, since I was going to do some videos, I would start with a brand new fleet rather than dumping somebody in, dumping viewers in with a fleet that's already upgraded. So we have to think about our strategy against the Chaos fleets, because we really can't let them get those broadsides on us, which is another reason why I went for the micro warp drives. If Orcs were in this beta, I would be playing Orcs, because all I want to do is ram ships, and that's what Orcs are made for. But yeah, so that's just a brief discussion of my fleet, what I've decided to build for it. After every game, I'm not going to do a video before a game, I'm going to do a video after every game. I'll discuss any upgrades I buy, any new things. I'll do it as a separate video so that you don't have to worry about extra long videos. You can watch this whenever you want, that kind of thing. But hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully it gets some people interested in the game. It is quite buggy at the moment, but it's also a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game I just had. It's fun watching those torpedoes race off and hoping they hit. And the amount of customization with the ships is probably going to make this game really unbalanced, but it's probably going to make it really fun because there's going to be lots of niche cool things you can do. And yeah, as I unlock things, I'll discuss upgrades as I unlock them. I'll unlock skills as I upgrade them, unlock favors as I upgrade them. So I won't dump too much information on a first video. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you've got any comments, I'd love to receive them, so please post away, and have a good afternoon. Bye.